Alright, welcome to part 3 of the Ragdoll. Part 3, what we're going to be doing is adding the upper and the lower legs. Okay, to get zoomed in, well, first what you want to do is right click body 3 and then press period. Period button will zoom in on any object. Then you can rotate around it. Okay, so what we want to do is duplicate this. So let's do Shift D, left click, and then use this blue arrow to drag it down here. And actually what I'm going to do is select everything, and I'm going to drag up the entire thing so that it is above our plane here that I've created. Okay, so here's the duplication. So once you've duplicated it, we're going to size it. So push S and X, size it on the X axis, and then S and Y, size it on the Y, and then S and Z. And you know, these are legs, so let's make them a little longer than the arms here. Basically just a skinny little post should work for now. Alright. Okay, so once you have the leg shaped by doing S and X and S and Y and S and Z, once you've scaled all those, we're going to change this so it'll match what we need. Alright, so we are going to name this one leg L1 for the left leg 1 and hit enter. That'll be its name. And then on the properties, we want to change the radius again. You can see that the radius, that's that orange circle right here. So you want to change that to 0.2. Just make sure it's inside the box. So 0.2 will work. And then we'll go to the constraints. And we have it set up as a rigid body constraint. The target is going to be body 3. We want it to connect to body 3. And it'll pivot on the Z at 1, so that should be good. Okay, and we've made it a hinge joint, so all of that is correct. So once you have that, do Shift D, left click with your mouse, and then use your little green arrow and move it over. And this is going to serve as our right leg. So we want to go to Object, and we need to name it leg R1, push enter, and all this will be the same. So once you rename it leg R1, you should be good. You don't need to change anything else. Once these are both created, you want to select both of them, do Shift D, left click with your mouse, and then use the blue arrow, and let's drag it down. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to select everything here. So I'm going to hold Shift, select all the objects, and just move it up a little more so we can see the whole ragdoll at once. Okay, and then what I'll come do is right click this bottom leg here. So we'll go to Object, we need to name it. So this is going to be leg L2. And actually that's all capitals, I want to change that. Just keep it consistent. Leg L2. No spaces. And then for the constraint, we're going to change it up. So we want to make it a hinge joint. And we want to make sure that the target is leg L1. So you need to scroll down to the bottom, select leg L1, and it'll still be on the Z axis at 1. And once you have that, right click the next leg, and this is going to be leg R2. Leg R2, all lowercase, no spaces. And for the constraint, we just need to change the target. The target will now be leg R1. so that it'll be this right here. It's a hinge joint, and the pivot is still on the z-axis at 1. And then once you have that, go ahead and go to File, Save, and I encourage you to press P and try it out, make sure it works. And once you have that, you are done with Part 3. Part 4, what we're going to be doing is sculpting this head and setting up the controls so that you can move it around. So just make sure you go to File, Save, and have it saved, and then go on to Part 4.